How's it going? It's Monday night. That means it's time for... What do we call this? Dylan Talks Tone. Yeah, that's us. How's it going? So if you're new to this channel, you'll know that you should hit the subscribe button because we have guitar-related videos that come out a couple of times a week. We do this every Monday night. We do this live thing. Super fun. So on youtube.com/Dylan Talks Tone every Monday night at 9 p.m. And Leslie over here, she makes it to where we can all have a conversation together, and it's not just talking in the room right here, but you out in the interwebs. So how can they do that?
Yeah, so if you're watching us on YouTube, you should see an option for chatting with us. And I am here acting as Dylan Talks Tone for the live show only, sharing your questions with Dylan as that time comes up and just hanging out. It makes it super fun for me. So say hello and say where you're from when you pop on. And I look forward to chatting with you.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. And... do you have some news for us this evening also? We have a bunch of little stuff I want to talk about, actually.
I have a couple things.
Okay, awesome. One of the things I wanted to mention before we get going tonight is check this out. We did some revamping of the Dylan Talks Tone merch store, and we got rid of some stuff that wasn't that cool, and we got some other stuff that really is cool. This is probably the coolest new thing that we got. We got tumblers with Dylan logos laser engraved on them in those different colors. I was really hoping for a purple, but they did not have it. So and it's a 30 ounce vacuum tumbler. It's not an Arctic or a Yeti. It's another brand, but they're really good still. And they are, remember yesterday, Leslie, we were talking about your tumbler and how awesome it was. Oh yeah, that one right there, because it's white but it doesn't get beat up. So these ones are supposed to be powder coated and then laser etched, so they're going to be super heavy duty, and it's going to be awesome. So I'm super stoked to have those. And then we got rid of some shirts that weren't really that cool and got actually a new shirt that I'm really stoked about because I like these. Let me show you that thing. So we got this shirt right here. So it's like a jersey style shirt, right? I mean, it's 90-something degrees right now, so I don't really care about it right now. But actually, it's storming and raining here. So anyway, I wanted to share that with y'all because those are some little ways you might not think but it really is amazing when people order that stuff. It's not even about the fact that we make money on this stuff, because I don't actually make that much money on it. It's only a few bucks, and honestly, it ends up being a wash by the time it's over with. But I really love it if y'all can buy this stuff and start wearing it and sharing it and sporting it, because that is what is really important to us. So I really appreciate it when you guys do that. What else do we got? So let's see. Let's see. Do we have anything coming in so far over there? Because I haven't been able to keep up with it.
I just saw you creeping.
I did. I just want to see if there was anybody on yet.
I mean, we have a question already. If you're interested in doing a question.
Yeah, well, let's do a couple questions now if you have them, and then we will maybe talk about some other stuff.
Okay, we'll have one question so far.
Okay.
Do you personally check the moisture content of wood prior to building with it?
Yes. Yes, we do. Because if it is too high, and getting into exact like moisture levels of the wood is a little weird for us where we live because it's so humid here. And it also depends on the kind of wood. So, but yes, you do not want, okay, you do not want wood that has not been dried for a long time, and it can take years. And here's an interesting fact. It's a little interesting thing. Wood that actually sits and dries out in a controlled environment is better than wood that is kiln dried, because it's kiln drying is like a hurried up version of it. And so yeah, you always want wood that's been sitting and drying. So that being said, I always ask where my wood comes from too. Like even necks. So we buy even necks that we buy. I always want to know where our wood comes from, because I want to know how much is it going to move, how much am I going to have to deal with it after I build it with it. Like for instance, if you go on eBay right now and you buy one of those like $45 necks on eBay, and you'll have to do some fret work, but you could probably get a playable hobbyist guitar out of one of those $45 necks on eBay. I don't use them, but I'll give you an example. The one that we bolted to the fence post, that was one of those eBay necks. It was okay. It would play pretty good. But did you know that maple was actually farmed maple from the United States, and they got sent to China and then made into a neck and then came back to the United States? So it's got a lot of miles on it, and it's got a lot of uncontrolled travel, right? Like, we're worried about our guitar being in a UPS truck going across the country, which I don't super worry about unless it's really hot like it is right now. But yeah, when you've got a neck sitting on a boat for however many months and you don't know where that thing's been warehoused, where it's been, it might have to sit in your shop for 3 weeks before you decide to use it, because it'll move around. So yeah, no, I definitely do. I like to check, and I also like to know where my wood comes from. And I know that was more than just a yes or no, but there's a lot of background to that, and I'm trying to kind of decide maybe why he's asking while we're talking, because
yeah, I don't know why that user was asking, but a subsequent question from another user is, what does that involve? Like, how do you know how moist it is?
Well, we don't use the word moist here.
Why not?
I'm just kidding.
Does that gross you out? Have we already had this conversation? I feel like we already had this conversation.
Basically, what we do is we just check. That being said, I use the calendar method. So however many days it's been in a particular humidity. And then they have like, I don't know what it's called. There's an instrument, because we don't store that much wood here. So I don't really worry about it here. So basically I worry about it where it comes from. So I call my wood guy and I'm like, what is the moisture content of this wood? How long have you had it? What is it? Is it reclaimed? Is it, that sort of stuff. When we ask all those questions, they have I can't think of what it's called in racing and in all these other stuff. They have a thing called a durometer where you it's got a little needle and you push on it and it tells you how hard like rubber is. It's sort of like that for wood, but it tells the moisture content. So that's... Yeah.
If you just do a quick Google search, it just says it's called a moisture meter.
Yeah, but that's what it does.
Pin type and pinless types.
Correct. Yeah, it's like a little thing. It's like a little gauge with a little needle on it, and you just like go like this, and it tells you how moist the wood is. Basically what it's doing... Here's the thing about it, though. Basically what it's doing is it's... When you put it on there... drier wood is going to poke in a different distance than wetter wood. That's basically all it is. So depending on you could get super stupid and technical with all this, but depending on the grain density, depending on the kind of the wood it is, has to be a different moisture than another wood. I don't care. As long as I know that wood has been sitting in an environment that I want it to be in. And I want the wood to be in like 40 to 55% humidity for like a month before I ever see it. And I also want to know that it has been cut for more than like 6 years. Like, you don't want it to be new at all.
I mean, and the good thing about that is if you have people you trust, you just,
Right.
they offer and they tell you what they have and you ask the questions and you don't even have to worry about it a lot of times.
And that's the thing. I mean, I do ask when I talk to somebody new.
Right.
Or when I'm using a new material that I've never used before. When we started using the walnut fretboards, that was a new wood for us. So I asked a lot of questions and made sure I knew. But it was reclaimed, so it was really old. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. What I would say for the normal hobbyist who is putting this together is just make sure, like, don't go to the lumber yard and get wood and make a guitar out of it. Although it will probably sound okay. What you're really concerned about is finish longevity, and is it going to split, and is it going to twist, and is it going to move? Movement. Don't worry about tone and all that. Like, these guys that are like, this wood is 400 years old, so it sounds better than a piece of wood that's 50 years old. I don't care about that. All I care about is I don't want it to move, because then my guitar doesn't stay in tune, or the action doesn't stay right? So you don't want it to move, and you don't want it to split, or that's also movement, right? Like, you just don't want it to move. That's the main thing.
Yep.
So that's consistency more than it is a particular number. So that's what we're talking about there. Any other questions?
Nope. We digressed.
Okay. Well, that's okay. That was fun. That was a new one.
They're having more fun in the comments than you're having here.
Oh, probably about wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, makes sense. That's the kind of crowd we have.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. At least the faithful listeners that are here every week. There's going to be...
They know how to have fun.
They know how to have fun in the
No matter
comment
what.
section. So if you're not in the comment section, you're missing out.
Yes.
Because I'm sure that they're having a lot more fun than what I'm hearing about right now. We went to Atlanta.
Yes.
Roswell, for those of you that are getting super technical in my comment section this week. Roswell, Georgia is about 21 miles, according to my GPS. Now
Probably not even outside of the city limits, though.
I don't know. Anyways, it's in North Atlanta, and it is home to one of the best guitar shops in the world. I have been to a lot of guitar shops. This is probably one of my favorites. And I got to play a John Mayer Silver Sky for the first time. I wasn't even going to upload the video until Wednesday, because we try to upload videos on Wednesdays and Mondays and Wednesdays. The live one on Monday and then another one on Wednesday. And I couldn't wait because I wanted to talk about this. That guitar is incredible. It is the first time in... some listener who has been listening to us for a long time is probably going to say, I don't know, like 6 months ago, you said you wanted this other new guitar too. But it's been a long time since I was like, I would buy a brand new guitar off the shelf. And the PRS John Mayer Silver Sky, as much as I was like, that seems dumb, I withheld my public opinion on it until I went to play it. And I am so glad that I did, because it is so good. It's Paul Reed Smith makes guitars that are perfect. They are. And honestly, that's why I don't like them, because they're really like surgically perfect. But for some reason, this one felt supernatural. When you pick it up, it just supernatural in your hands. Like the neck profile. I don't usually like Paul Reed Smith neck profiles either. When you pick it up, it felt like a vintage Strat. It just did. Only like everything worked, and there was no weird friction points, and springs didn't rub in the back, and all the things. Like, every guitar seems to have the thing where you're like, I read about this on a forum and then I bought the guitar and I automatically had to do this thing to the guitar because there was this little problem with it. This guitar has none of that. You just play it.
Right.
Just so good. The only thing that I would say that I didn't like as much as everything else is the tuning keys. If we want to get really, really, really picky, I would have wanted them to been bead tumbled or something so that the corners on them were a little bit rounder and a little bit softer. Because plastic that has hard edges on it to me just looks a little bit cheap. But we're getting really, 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 really nitpicky. But other than that, the finish was beautiful. The setup was beautiful. The fretwork was beautiful. Everything. It was just an incredible guitar. And if you have not played one yet, you need to go play one. Even if you're not interested in it, I think you should go do it. Because just for the experience of playing it. Especially since everybody made such a big deal out of it. And now, that's why I titled the video that we did about it, I really don't get it. Because I don't get all the weirdness. Especially now that I played it. I don't get it at all. It was pretty awesome. And then I got to see a 53 Les Paul. I think they want $38,000 for that one, if you're interested. That was pretty cool. I'm trying to think of what else was there that was of interest. If you watch the video today, you'll know that I shot all the B-roll. I set up the camera to shoot the main talking head part, and forgot to hit record and spoke to the camera for 5 minutes without recording anything. And so I had to record that part over again today in the dining room and then just edit the B-roll over it. But it ended up working out. I think there's a couple thousand views on it already, so I think it ended up working out okay. So yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about before we get into Leslie's news is this Instagram thing. We made a video about it on our YouTube channel, and our YouTube audience didn't watch it very much because they might not understand it, because you might not be into Instagram that much. But I think if you want to promote your music on the internet right now, Instagram TV might be the single most powerful tool that you have available to you right now that you don't have to pay for. Because it's new, if you were to get on there and make vertical, not horizontal, but vertical with your cell phone videos for Instagram, just playing and telling your story about who you are, chances are that your audience is going to grow really big right now. And if you have said to yourself or are saying to yourself right now, yeah, I should do that one of these days, or Instagram is dumb, or I don't really have time for Instagram, you don't understand. Take the time. It'll only take 20 minutes to get it set up, and then you will have, it won't even take that long. If you already have Instagram, I think it's just one button. And every day, put a little bit of content on Instagram TV and on Instagram. I think it's going to be a very fast-moving and developing platform. And they are talking about monetizing it to creators by January of 2019. So you could actually make ad revenue like you do on YouTube. But at the beginning. Did I tell you that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Sean Cannell from Video Influencers said that the other day, that they said that they're going to try by January of 19 to roll out monetization. So that means that if you are doing it now and have people following your stuff for the first 8 or 9 months, or 6 months. That's 6 months. Oh my God, it's June. It's the end of June.
End of June.
So if you, for the next 6 months, you build that audience on Instagram, making videos every day. By the time they monetize it, you might have something. Don't miss that boat, man. And don't make excuses. I'm telling you, I don't care how old you are. I don't care. Don't make excuses. I'm serious. If you want to promote your stuff on the internet, it's the thing right now. I feel like I was like 3 years too late for YouTube. And I'm not, because we're fine. But if I had known about YouTube 3 or 4, if I had known and understood how powerful YouTube was 3 or 4 years prior to when I really started working on it, we would be in a completely different place right now. And I want to make sure, for me personally, that I don't make that same I don't want to say make that same mistake, because it wasn't a mistake, but just I don't want to miss that boat, I guess, with Instagram. So I wanted to mention that, because we don't talk enough, I don't think, on this channel about actually promoting your creativity. And that's a way. And the thing that bugs me, I'm just going to be really frank with you. The thing that bugs me is I say it in a video or I talk about it on my Facebook page, and the comments are immediately full of, yeah, I'm too busy for that right now. Yeah, I don't have time to do that right now. I don't want to mess with it. I'm not really that into Instagram. Like, all these comments, that's what everybody says. And that is why, I mean, just don't do that. Just go do it. Just go do it. Tomorrow, if you do it today, you will have more followers tomorrow than you did today. Even if it's 1 or 2. Do you know that every time I post something on Instagram, I get 1 to 2 followers? Sometimes I get tons of them, but every time I post something, I get 1 or 2 followers. And so that means that you have to do something to make something happen. So that's my little spiel on that. But I just want to talk about it because it's the new hotness. And we made a video about it, and I always like to talk about why we made our videos that we made this week.
Right.
So what's going on over there in the comment section?
Nothing. Somebody asked about cameras. They thought you were still using the Canon, so I updated that. But we have another listener who is really good camera pro, so I was like, tagged him and said he could help him out too.
Oh yeah. Actually, yeah, Mike's probably listening.
Yep. And
he's the one that I call when I have questions.
Yep.
So yeah, that dude knows everything about that stuff. For the Instagram stuff, just use your phone. That's what it's for. Like, that's what it's made for. We are going to do some content on using like little clip-on microphones and stuff to make your sound a little bit better. Rode just came out with a new one for iOS devices with the lightning thing that clips right in the bottom and makes your audio a little bit better. So I actually reached out to Rode to try to get one. So I'd like to do a video on that, and then maybe some other stuff too. Even like the blue snowball thing that we have already. There's a couple things. There's ways that you can plug a nice microphone straight into your cell phone and not have expensive stuff, and be able to make good videos for Instagram. So we're gonna talk about that, I think, in the next few weeks. Maybe actually this week. Maybe I'll do a blue snowball video this week because I have one and we can do that right away.
We do have one.
Yeah. You podcast with it.
Mm-hmm.
How's your podcast going? You keep making them.
Yeah.
And people do listen to them.
You think?
I do.
I don't know. They say they do.
They say they do.
I don't know where they come from.
Well, all right. Well, we're going to...
It's a very interesting concept to me.
The Introverted Vegan, that's the name of the podcast. You should go check it out. It's on iTunes. And it is very interesting and introverted, because that's what it's called. And all you people that don't want to be on Instagram need to go listen to that podcast.
All you people.
Yeah. Because that's what it's for.
We haven't even gone into the good personal development stuff yet.
No?
It's coming.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And we're making a bunch of cooking videos. I made salsa video today. Not like the dance, but like the actual
It was
food.
good.
It was really good. And we made something last night. This is totally not Dylan Talks Tone related. It's musicandmascara.com related, but we made some food last night that was so off the chain good. We got a video coming for that too. So that was really good. I'm trying to, so this is also has something to do with kind of if you want to be promoting yourself on the internet, just like being immersed in guitar groups and guitar nerdery all the time. It's fun because it's fun stuff and that's what we love. But people also want to know like other things that you're interested in, right? And so I love to cook and we eat a plant-based diet, and I love to grill and I got a new grill. So I've been making videos about that stuff. I just decided that I'm going to start making more videos about stuff that I like. It has nothing to do with music really, but I want people to know. I want you all to know what I'm into, right? Like if we have more in common, then it makes it easier to make this content, I think. So, and it has worked. It's been fun.
Well, it just makes the community better too because they know you
agreed
as a whole person.
Right.
Not just a piece of
and
you.
So, because I wonder if people have been wondering why there's been so much of that other content.
Right.
But that's really why. Like, I just want everybody I want to get to know everybody, right? And really make this a community. And if all you know is me as a guitar nerd, then you're only getting, a percentage because I'm also very cool in other ways.
I was like, where is this going?
Oh, no, whatever. Anyway.
That's funny.
Like I said, I'm just having fun. And I also said that I would want to be more myself and less technical and I'm just going to say whatever comes in my brain in my videos. What kind of news do we have in Leslie's news this week?
It's not my news.
Well, you made it up.
I'm not making it up. So I kind of did a throwback version of, we used to do like the this day in history thing and then music that was new music that was released, because if you look at music news that happened this week, the only thing out there is about the rapper who died and beat up his girlfriend. Like he's been in the news for 2 weeks straight now and that is like all the news.
Well, and Vinnie Paul.
He wasn't in anything, believe it or not, that I looked at today.
Really?
I totally forgot about it.
Really?
Yeah.
So
So none of the popular
that's
news
because
out.
it's metal.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
If you think about all of our friends in the business.
Yeah.
Like even when we were in Atlanta on Saturday, there was like a half a dozen people I wanted to call and say hi, but I kind of just let it be.
Yeah.
Because
no, it was definitely a big thing on our news feeds, but
yeah,
it wasn't apparently a big deal in the news because I wasn't even thinking outside of the box when I was looking for that.
Really? That is so interesting. And I mean, he's just like a mainstay of...
It's kind of disappointing, actually.
Yep. Yeah, it just goes to show you that rock and metal, if it's not mainstream stuff, it kind of does get kicked to the side. But
yeah.
he was involved with a lot of stuff and a lot of bands too. But they were also very, like even his latest band, Hell Yeah, with the dude from Mudvayne. Mudvayne wasn't a mainstream metal band when it was out. I mean, they're awesome, but they weren't,
right.
Damage Plan with his brother when his brother died, never really, I mean, it was awesome, but I think it probably got more popular after Dimebag died than before, right? So, yeah, definitely a smaller crowd, but still, like, I was going to call one of my drummer friends in Atlanta. I realized, and that's the thing, is I kind of realized, I was like, wait a minute. This friend is a drummer, and I think he's like toured with him. And then this other friend is an editor of a heavy metal magazine, and this other friend like is in a metal band. And like I was going through all my list of friends, and they all knew him, and it all had just happened that And I was like, I'm probably just gonna not bother these people, just give them some space, because I bet they're way more affected by it than even I am, because I actually never met him. But and then today I read, and I don't know if it's true because they're going to do an autopsy, but they're saying he died of a heart attack. A heart attack can be caused by many things, but they're saying that he died of a heart attack at 54. So
he was only 54? That seems unreal. How young was he? Like, he must have been really young in Pantera.
Well, Pantera started in 1981.
Yeah, so he had to be really young.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I was started in 81.
You started in 81. Oh my gosh. That's funny. So what else is going on in the news? Because
you
sidetracked
crashed my
you.
segment.
Sorry about that.
We got
to talk about Vinnie Paul. To me, that's more important than some dumb rapper. I love rap, but he's a dumb rapper. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I don't know him. I don't know his music either.
But
apparently he was. That was something we talked about. So, as much as he is in the news and apparently as popular as he was, that even shows like a generation shift, right? Because I was like, who is he? I've never heard of him, and I feel like I'm pretty on top of a lot of things. But he was a SoundCloud star, like, and I didn't even know that was a thing.
He's a wife beater though, right?
Girlfriend beater, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
yeah, I'm
done. I'm out.
So anyway,
I don't care.
All right, this day in history.
Yep.
For this week. So back on June 21st, 1986, which was 32 years ago, Genesis released their 13th album, Invisible Touch.
Oh my gosh.
Which is crazy enough, right? And then to think about it being 32 years ago. But do you know that it had songs that were on the chart for 96 weeks straight? That's almost 2 years.
That is crazy.
I had no idea. I mean, like, to put it in that perspective, I was like, whoa.
Well, I mean, Phil Collins is, Phil Collins. What year?
86.
See, and he probably still had stuff in the charts, or at least in radio airplay, from No Jacket Required, which I think came out in 82 or 84.
I don't know.
So, yeah, he was making some bank back then. Both show.
Still is. I mean,
yeah.
Did Disney scores and things like that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So then today in history, 2009, which was 9 years ago now, was when Michael Jackson died at the age of 50.
Yep. Can you believe that? Almost a decade ago, he's been gone.
No, I can't. It's crazy.
Yep. Because that one feels like it has happened recently.
Right. And today, in 1984, which is 34 years ago, Prince's Purple Rain came out. It's just crazy to think that some of these classic albums are now that old.
Well, I was thinking about this the other day in the context of like what really is good music, because there's this whole crowd of people that's like Led Zeppelin is the only music, and that stuff is almost 50 years old now, right? Classic rock, what do they consider classic rock? 20 or 30?
I don't know.
It's right in there. I mean, that's a big range, but I'm just saying.
It's 20, right? Because we've
I
laughed
guess it's
about
20.
stuff yeah.
So what was 20 years ago? Like, what was the Billboard, what was the rock charts 20 years ago? You can look that up while we're talking about this. It's classic rock now. So I'll tell you a story. And my dad's probably listening, but he probably doesn't remember this. So I'll try not to be super disrespectful about it. But this really pissed me off when I was a kid. I remember thinking, because my dad, when Pearl Jam 10 came out in 1990, my dad said it was Pearl. I was listening. My two favorite bands then were Pearl Jam, and I had Bad Motorfinger by Soundgarden. And my dad said, I'll never forget it. He said, "What the heck are you listening to?" or something like that. In 20 years, that's not good music. In 20 years, you're not even going to remember who those people are. And I was thinking like, yeah, right. Because my dad is from the Bob Dylan, Led Zeppelin era, and those people and the people that still hang on to that stuff think that that is like the only good music. But what's interesting is I was listening to the radio the other day and I was thinking somebody 20 years from now is going to listen to this song on some compilation, right? Or some...
It doesn't even have to be on a compilation. I mean, look at what our kids listen to. Our kids listen to music that they think is amazing. And it was popular when I was younger than they are.
Yep.
And they're like, what? You know, they think they discovered something cool.
Well, speaking of Vinnie Paul, do you remember the first time we were in the truck listening to Pantera, and our daughter, who is she was in her mid-teens then, and she's like, oh my gosh, you have to hear this song. Because maybe she was listening to it on her phone or something.
Yeah.
She's like, you have to listen to this song. This song's so awesome. Like, she just discovered this amazing thing. And it was like Walk or Cowboys from Hell or something. It was off of Far Beyond Driven, which came out in, 92? Right? So it came out before she was born. She had no idea.
Right.
Right? So take time out of it and just let it be.
But that's what happens. So they listen to, what were they into at the time? Not Pandora, probably.
Oh, as far as a
so like
listening
Pandora,
service?
and you pop in a couple of things that you
whatever.
like, and then things just show up. It doesn't tell you, it's not like XM radio where it might have a date on it or anything. So they have no clue, and they just literally have discovered this song that they don't know if it's new or old or otherwise.
I think it was Lady Gaga that made me think of that the other day. Was in 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga and actually Trent Reznor, because this came up in a conversation today, because I just watched, and you guys have to go to Netflix and watch the Vietnam documentary. It will, even if you've never been curious about it before, I'm telling you, it will affect you. It is a very... I had personal reasons for the reasons I wanted to watch it, but I think everybody... So it really did affect me. But I'm just saying, go watch it. But I'm looking at the credits, and Trent Reznor wrote the scores for it. And you were telling me today that he's written scores for lots of stuff. And so somebody like him, somebody like Lady Gaga, who wrote some scores for some stuff we were talking about on last week's show, it might be 20 years from now, people think she's some pop star, but I mean, people didn't think Madonna was going to turn into this legend of a person. They didn't think Michael Jackson was going to turn into the legend of a person that he is, or Prince. They were just pop stars. Little Red Corvette could have been just as forgettable as any other little pop song that comes on the radio. And some people will say to me like, oh, don't talk bad about Prince like that. But back when it came out,
it was pop.
Just a pop song on the radio, like any pop song that's today. Just like it. I mean, granted, he did play all the instruments, and he was amazing. But there are people like that today. Bruno Mars, for instance. Lady Gaga, for instance. That are just pop stars. But Justin Timberlake, incredibly talented, that they don't get the credit for. So classic rock's going to be different in 20 years from now.
Oh, for sure.
But it's still going to be good. And I was just thinking about that. It's really cool.
Good segue.
Okay.
So music released this week on June 22nd Nine Inch Nails has a new album
Heck
called
yeah.
Bad Witch. It's the shortest full album that they've ever released. It's only like 6 songs. I just clicked through enough to preview, and it is very much Nine Inch Nails.
Cool, man.
He definitely has a sound to him no matter what he's doing. And it's very varied. It's one of which kind of sounds melodic, but it still very much sounds like Trent Reznor.
Like melodic, but still has that like angry underneath it too.
Well, it's like an intensity that comes with his music. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know.
It's
but
true.
It's good. And then this week, June 29th, so upcoming music releases, new albums from Bullet for My Valentine, Florence and the Machine, and Gorillaz.
All 3 of those I'm excited about.
Yeah.
I've seen all 3 of them live. Bullet for My Valentine is amazing. I heard their new single the other day. It's actually really good. Let's see. Any more?
Nope.
And we had a question come in that looks like you sent to me. David Ross wants to know, what are your thoughts? This is an interesting question. What are your thoughts on guitar companies naming guitars? Example, Les Paul, SG, Stratocaster. If you were to create your own line of guitars for a business, what would you name them? Many names seem to be already taken or generic. I have decided, because I do have a guitar business, I do build guitars, and I do have some original stuff. I've decided to not put too much thought into when somebody wants a Tele. I'm not going to come up with some fancy name for a Tele copy. I'm building a Jazzmaster right now that's really, really killer, and it is not normal. It is done very differently than a regular Jazzmaster. However, it basically kind of looks like a Jazzmaster. I'm not going to go out of my way and give it some kind of cool name. I'm just going to say it's a Jazzmaster style guitar and give it to the person who ordered it. But when we do something fun and original and something that I really put a lot of thought into, then yeah, I literally sat down. So what comes to mind is the Batfish. That's the Dylan Custom Guitars Batfish. I had a whole idea. That was a whole concept of conglomeration of ideas that came together for that particular guitar. And I wanted to name it something that meant what it was. And so I literally sat down with Wikipedia and a dictionary and a thesaurus and probably took 2 hours. And over a couple of days. Coming up with the right name for that guitar, the Dylan Custom Guitars Batfish. And if you've ever seen a Batfish, in fact, let me do something really quick. This is why I call it a Batfish. Because a Batfish is a weird looking... It's a weird looking animal. Well, here, I'll just show you. That looks like a bunch of animals kind of mixed together. It's a fish, crab, bat, wing looking weird thing. And the guitar that we have named the Batfish is a bunch of different stuff kind of put together and melded into a thing that really works well. So that's why I called it the Batfish. I did put some thought into it. And I'm actually kind of proud of it. Probably, unnecessarily, but it's whatever. What else we got going over there? Anything?
Nope.
Not a whole lot? Okay. Well, cool. I'm also glad that we didn't lose power tonight.
Yeah, it was crazy.
We have had 60-mile-an-hour winds, and I had to pull mostly my grill because I didn't want it to get wrecked, but towards the house so that passing trees and debris didn't do anything to it, because it was that kind of an evening around here. Stay tuned this week on Dylan Talks Tone on the YouTubes. I think we will go ahead and do a video more about Instagram TV and how to make videos for that and audio and stuff. We did a video about using a big camera and changing the format and stuff, but that was kind of for people that have other formats of video that they're trying to meld it all together. But for the person that is just like, you know what, I just want to do a video right now and put it on the internet and have it be good, we're going to make that video. That's what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great idea. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot. I think
It is 9:45.
we're getting down on it. Yeah, it's right about that time where
So
we
if
do.
anybody has any other questions,
Any last minute questions that they want to squeeze in before the night is up. And while we're waiting,
what video is coming out Wednesday since you pre-released a video today?
I think that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the
Okay.
snowball video.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to do the snowball video, and I might do, I don't know, we'll see. I've got an iRig thing here. I've got a couple different ways we can make an electric guitar sound good.
What
Or an
pickups
acoustic.
do you use for a Tele for rock and roll, maintaining a bright neck?
A brighter neck, flat 6. The Dylan pickups flat 6s. They are a little lower output, so there's tons of clarity there. They are not muddy at all, and they go, but without being super harsh, like rip your face off. But that's yes.
Oh, same person earlier. I missed it. What do you think about Fender's twisted Tele pickups?
I don't like them. So because I think they're too hot. That's 100% personal opinion. Don't let that affect how you feel about them. I just like lower output pickups because I like the clarity of a lower output pickup. That's the real reason. And twisted Tele pickups to me they're just too much. There's ways you can get high output pickups to sound really good, but in my opinion, I just don't really like them. They sound kind of too compressed for me. So,
A good neck humbucker suggestion for a Tele style? For around $100 suggestions. He just clarified his question while I was talking.
Dylan pickup center punch, hands down the best. Because when you coil split it, it still sounds like a Tele neck pickup. So it's made to do that. It's that pickup, the Dylan pickup center punch, is made to go in a Tele in the neck position or a Strat in the bridge position.
Cool.
And work.
Are you going to shoot anything in Nashville next week? And that's actually this week.
Yeah, so that was the other thing that we were going to talk about tonight that we didn't talk about yet. Was, does anybody want me to look at anything in particular?
Oh,
when
we
go
did
to
talk about
Nashville?
that last week, though.
We did.
Oh.
I have a few things now. I've made contact with a few people. Oh, I have another cool new news also. Tone Crate called me today. For those of you that have Kempers, I think there's a few of you that listen. Maybe you might be listening in replay later. Tone Crate is coming out with a really big Tone Crate pack of Kemper profiles. And he does a lot of like high gain metal based stuff, but this is a pretty big time country producer in Texas, and they did like 80 amps or something.
Dang.
So he's coming out with them in stages, but I think he's going to send me a bunch of them later this week to listen to, to use and listen to and try. And so hopefully by next Monday, we will have a bunch of stuff to talk about from the NAMM show because we're going up there Saturday, and we will have some new Tone Crate profiles. I heard Vox, I heard Divided by 13, I heard a bunch of stuff that's more traditional sounding stuff that a lot of our listeners would really like.
Cool.
So I'm really excited about that because he just called me this afternoon and told me about that. The other thing is, I did that video about guitar stands. Oh, I was going to bring that other guitar stand in here and show them that this week, and I forgot. The one that broke. anyway, zither, the ones the guys that make the cool wooden one, that sort of hides like the guitar is like kind of hanging. He liked my video and he sent me another one. And so we did another video about the zither stuff. And apparently he has like a guitar playing throne, like a studio stool that you can sit on and play guitar really well.
Did you call it a throne?
Yeah, like a drum throne. They call it a drum throne.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So the guitar
so
playing
you sit
style.
on your throne to play?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Anyway, he said after NAMM he was going to send me one of those so we could talk about that too. So it's been a cool week around here. We got a lot of neat stuff to make some videos about and to tell you all about. Plus our trip to Atlanta last week. It's been fun. It's been super fun. If
we have a CD release party to go to Friday night.
Oh, we do. That's
for the
right.
Video that you created.
Yeah. So that band Whiskey Run that was here, the two guys that played in the studio acoustic with us about a month ago or 6 weeks ago. That EP that they were promoting is coming out this week, or it has come out.
It is out. You can buy it.
Yep, on iTunes. And so we're gonna go to their CD release party on Friday night, and then we're gonna get up at like 4 a.m. the next morning and drive to Nashville. It's gonna be insane, but that's what has to be done to do what we do, because that's what we do. So
cool.
Any other last minute questions?
I don't think so.
Right on. Well, I'm so glad that everybody could hang out with us tonight. And if you have any other questions or need to know anything or have any suggestions for next week's show, anything, leave them in the comments to this video or any of the other videos actually that you watched this week, because there's more coming. And make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our Facebook page and Instagram and all that stuff so you can keep up with us as we continue to do all the things we do. And until next week, I guess we will see you on the internet.